All right. I can see you. We are live.
Yes, we are live. Hey,
Yes.
Elaine and Quintinette. How y'all doing?
Hello.
Y'all know I got
Hey.
my water. All right, well, we want to go ahead and get started here. All right, so how is everyone doing today? Hello, hello, hello. We are back on here as promised, Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Right, so today we are going to be talking about the challenges that entrepreneurs face, right? And we decided to discuss this topic because, a lot of people dream about being an entrepreneur and they really want to be an entrepreneur, right? And they just see the success stories. A lot of times you see somebody started a business and then you see their success down the line. But a lot of times they don't tell you the struggles and challenges that they face in between their growth while being an entrepreneur. So that's why we're here today to go ahead and discuss that. And remember, y'all, this is an open discussion. Feel free to ask questions. We will do our best to answer all questions that come through. If we don't get the opportunity to answer them on the live, we will respond to the questions after the live is over. Okay, and I just want to let y'all know today, y'all have myself, Tiffany Fuller, you have Quintinette, and you also have Elaine Capron. Right, we are missing Marissa and Vivian because they have another engagement. So they could not be on tonight, but y'all will definitely see them next week. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Um, I guess I'll go ahead and begin since I'm already talking, right, y'all? All right.
Go for it.
One thing that I will talk about as far as being an entrepreneur, right? And all of us on here are entrepreneurs. So, what we're stating to you, we don't want you to take that as we're discouraging you or that you cannot be an entrepreneur, but you just need to realize what comes along with being an actual entrepreneur, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and start off with, when you become an entrepreneur, right? A lot of times people say, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to do what I want to do, work when I want to work, go on vacation when I want to go on vacation, right? So a lot of times that's why they become an entrepreneur because they want to control their time, right? But in order to control your time, you have to be disciplined, right? And a lot of times when people start out as an entrepreneur, they are not disciplined, right? Because they're coming from corporate America. They are used to people telling them what to do, what time they have to be to work, the days they have to be there, when they get to go on vacation. Sometimes when they got get to go to the bathroom, and they better be back within 5 minutes, right? When you can take a sick day, they're so used to getting permission. So when now you're in charge of that, so it's nobody telling you what to do. So you have to discipline yourself. You have to change your mindset, right? And you have to create a schedule, even though you're in charge of your time and you honestly can do what you want to do. But the problem with that, if you just do what you want to do, as far as like getting up late, not showing up for work because somebody called. Oh yeah, girl, I'm going to go to the movies with you, no problem. Let's go. So stuff like that, you can't do that. You have to stay focused and you have to dedicate time. And you can't be open once a month because you just wanted to do other things. You can't sleep all day, so you have to set schedules and you have to stick to it. A lot of times people will tell you that they have a business and you have no way of getting in touch with them because the way they operate, it appears as if they're never open, right? So with that, you just have to be disciplined. Like all of us on here, we have schedules, we have times that we're open, we have times when we set appointments, and even times when we are closed. If we need to work during that time, we're able to do that. So that's just something that a lot of people struggle with, and it definitely hinders their growth and it definitely affects their cash flow.
That's right. So to add to that, okay, so the downtime is very important because you will burn yourself out. I know in the beginning of me working for myself, I was always tired, because I gave myself a task and I just didn't really know how to manage that time properly because I do so many different things, right? So you get a whole lot of work, but you don't end up finishing what you need to finish, but you're pushing to finish it. So in the beginning, I would get up and I would make sure that I was at the office by 9, and then at 9 o'clock, I'm still at the office. Yeah,
And I'll add a little bit to that too. Go ahead. Are you
go ahead. Go ahead.
as speaking as far as discipline? I mean, just like both of you mentioned, it's like you think that now that I work for myself, I have all this time, and you really don't. And you do have to be very disciplined to be able to get things done still in a timely manner, not just thinking that, oh, well, I have the rest of this week, or anything like that, because you still want to come across as professional. You still want to come across as, you're managing your time and things like that. So discipline is definitely one of the top ones that people just think that, oh, I can do what I want. I'm flexible. I can get that done anytime. I'll stay to 9, 10 o'clock at night and get it done, and then you just end up burning yourself out from doing that.
Hmm. What that also does, it doesn't create a timeline for your clients.
Absolutely.
So what ends up happening is that your your clients, because of the time that you're working, your clients get used to calling you at dark 30 at night. And when I say dark 30, I'm like 9, 10, 11 o'clock. They just figure you're up because you've called them at that time.
Mhm.
And you have to think of it this way, and I'm not even talking about Capron and Associates. I mean, when I'm talking about when I first started my very first business, which was Dockside Mortgage Solutions, and we made good money, but I was always at work. I was always at the beck and call of my realtors and my clients, and I literally had a 7-day close system. So I had a system because I used to be an underwriter of a 7-day close system. Here was my problem. I worked bad hours and I did not take care of myself, but I closed my files. So my clients were always happy and everybody was always referring business to me, but my health deteriorated because of it. I developed high blood pressure. I was always having headaches. Who works optimal when they have a headache? Like who is at the top of their game at a headache? No one. So it taught me something very valuable. I had to learn how to manage my time properly. I had to let my clients know these are my hours. And I had to learn how to take days off,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know, because if you have a family, you need days off.
Yeah.
Your family, you think you're doing it for your family, but your family grows up and then they're gone and you would have had no time with them. So taking time off and then time management as if you are working for a company. So the example I gave myself when we started Capron and Associates was real simple. If when I was doing mortgages and I was still working at the banks doing mortgages, then I would be working at the bank from 9 to 5 o'clock. Some nights we worked until 6, but the doors were locked at 6 and you weren't working anymore. And the client knew that they had to call you on their time off from lunch or send you an email or something like that. So Tiffany, that was the best subject to start off with. Like seriously,
Thank you.
time management is just amazing.
Thank you. And I wanted to add to that, because a lot of times as entrepreneurs, right, people really, really think they have all the time in the world when reality, we all work more than we ever worked when we were in corporate America. So you actually put a you really put a lot of time in. And when you're in that beginning stage, guess what? A lot of times you're not making no money. So you're working without without getting anything in exchange right away.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong, some businesses are very lucrative and you can build much faster as far as your cash flow than other businesses, but that is something that you face, right? And then, two, when you decide to take time off, whether it's voluntary or we all live in the real world here, right? We all have family, we all have children, we have people that we care for and that we take care of, right? So when these people get sick that we're responsible for, guess what? You don't get a sick day. Because see, you was in corporate America, you got a sick day, you get paid. You have vacation days. You don't have that when you're an entrepreneur. Now, can you implement that as time go on? You absolutely can. But remember, that's still a cost coming from you. So that's not free. And then if you're the only person that work in your business and you're away, that means that the business is at a standstill until you return. So the next thing I definitely want to talk about that is a challenge for entrepreneurs is cash flow management.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely that is definitely one of the challenges that you face, right? Cash flow for you to be able to maintain your lifestyle, whether it's paying your mortgage, paying rent, your utilities, getting food in the house, paying for daycare, providing the necessities that's needed to survive. Now, listen to everything that I said. I just said a few things, but I'm not talking about nothing luxury. I'm talking about what's required to survive, right? So now you have to get the business, have the cash flow coming in so that you can actually do those things. And then as your business grow, guess what? You start to hire people. So that's also part of your cash flow, right? And then what happens? So let's say you're working in your business. Y'all all know I own financial wellness. I do an array of financial services, right? So, we service a lot of tax clients. We do insurance, just so many things. We have contracts out with so many different people and companies, right? But what if I'm solely dependent on that contract coming from, let's say, Capron and Associates, right? That's supposed to come in on Tuesday. So I know, okay, I got, let's say, $20,000 coming in from Capron and Associates. She's supposed to pay on Tuesday. So, okay, I can use that to make sure I make payroll on Friday. But then what happens? Something happens on Capron and Associates end that affects them being able to pay me on Tuesday. So now the money that I was waiting for never comes through. But I got several people over here that I have to pay, and they're dependent on that money because that's how they feed their family. That's how they pay the rent. That's how they pay their mortgage. That's how they go get the diapers for their babies. So then what do? These are challenges in real life scenarios that you face. So one thing, that we've talked about in our previous podcast is business formation and building a great foundation. And that's one of the reasons why we talk about that, right? Because you never want to just have enough. You want to have an overflow, and it doesn't have to be an abundant overflow, but you definitely have to have something there because we don't live in a perfect world and things will go wrong.
Exactly.
And sometimes you just have clients, right, that are supposed to pay you and you provide the service and they don't even pay you. Oh, girl, I got to wait for 2 weeks, even though they called you about 25, 30 times because they really needed to get this done. They hound you and hound you and hound you and hound you. And then you send them the invoice and they talking about they don't have no money. And this is why some businesses, and y'all have to understand, as small business owners, this is why some of us require deposits or we require that you pay before we provide the service, because that just doesn't make any sense to me. If I know I'm going in to get a service done, I know it's going to cost me money. So for people to come in and don't have anything, it's not even like they say, oh, I didn't realize it was going to cost that much. So I have $150. Can I bring you the rest later? They have zero, nothing. And that affects us because the same way everybody else needs their money, okay, to pay for what is needed and required in life, we need that too. We have businesses and stuff as well, and just to tell y'all, even now, my business, and my business is very successful, but guess what? I was going through my books and everything last week. I had $52,000 worth of past due invoices. Now that's ridiculous. So that's something to think about, right? Because unfortunately, we live in a world where people just don't honor what they do, or they think that it's okay to pay you later, or they think that we sitting on millions and billions and or six figures, six, seven, eight figures. So it's okay. We can wait for our money. Whether we
Mhm.
got $1 or $10 million, it don't matter. You still owe it, and that's not fair, regardless of what the amount is, because people wouldn't want nobody to do that to them. And most people that work in corporate America, let that job not have your check on Friday. It's gonna be a problem. Y'all calling the news. Y'all ready to sue. I quit. I mean, everything. They're gonna go crazy.
Definitely.
But that's what people do to a lot of small businesses, right?
Definitely. Hmm.
So, but that is a reason, though, why you have to be able to manage your cash flow, and you can't be just dependent on what's supposed to come in at that time to help you meet the deadline.
Hmm.
Anybody want to add to that?
I'll
Yeah,
add to that.
go ahead.
I'll add to that because, and that comes with planning for seasons. And what I mean by that is just like the business formation. I know here in Oklahoma is $25 renewal every year. That's something that you should plan for. Just like your mortgage, you plan for that every month. So there are going to be, no matter what industry you're in, I'm sure there's going to be different seasons where you're not making as much as you normally would on maybe the summer months, the spring, fall. So just prepare for those seasons and make sure that you're putting something back, for that as well. Thinking of cash flow too, a lot of challenges, even me personally or some clients that I have experienced has been, oh, you know what? I was at the store, I only had my business card on me, so I just swiped it for my chips and soda. So when you're talking about cash flow and the separation, of funds, of personal and business, making sure that you keep that business, you keep that separate and don't commingle funds.
Hmm.
But that is one of the challenges that some of the clients, have mentioned. I just thought, since it all go together, or since it's a flow through entity, or all of those things, they just think it's okay to do it. But you definitely have to plan, prepare, for those seasons that you may not be bringing in the income. And also, like Tiffany was mentioning, make sure that you have to make sure you can still maintain your obligations or sustain what you have to do, regardless if somebody that owes you, you still have to make sure you sustain that and be able to take care of your business. So that's it.
My thing with that is planning. When we talk about planning in the formation of a business entity, don't quit your job. I mean, literally, I've seen people quit their job, and I have this business that I'm forming, and I don't have a income coming in. I got to make this work. Making this work means a lot of planning because it's trial and error. So you always have like a nest egg or something to fall back on. You know, Tiffany named several things that she does under financial wellness. What she didn't name was the fact that she's a realtor also. So she has different viable sources of income that,
Multiple.
yeah, so that she knows that if one thing is slow this month, the other thing won't be,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
the ability to have a staff so that you can multitask is amazing, right? But that takes time to build up. Oh, over years, right? It takes time, and then it is a comfortable. You have to be comfortable with what you're doing, and then there's a trust factor.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole lot of factors in there. So using myself as an example, with like Tiffany, Capron and Associates does multiple things like across the board when it comes to finance, and business entities. So when tax season is over, I'm doing insurance just like Tiffany is. Like we talk to each other about clients.
Every day.
I am talking to clients about what they have in their I'm talking to clients about what they have as a source of income and what they should have as a source of income. And I'm asking them, how long are you going to run? In other words, how long are you planning on running this business? How long are you planning on working until you're dead? Or do you plan on retiring? Or are you going to leave this for your kids? And then what kind of funds are you building up towards this entity that you're building? Like Quintonetta and I were just having a conversation, and literally I tell my clients all the time, you should have some type of insurance that builds cash. Hello, cash doesn't build every day overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody today is running on these little conversations about building cash to use it for your business like you're your own bank. But excuse me, but a bank account takes time to build.
Mm-hmm.
So you're building your business and it takes time to build. So I'm going to use myself as an example again. My husband and I relocated to a different part of Florida, from South Florida. In that relocation, we had to take into account that we weren't going to be working, we're moving. So there are going to be a couple of months that we're just getting the house together, doing, because we left everything and we're starting fresh. So the savings account carried us for the business.
Mm-hmm.
We have a business savings account that made sure it paid its bills and us on time. And we have our personal savings account that makes sure it pays us.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, I've had a couple of people say to me, well, you took off a couple of times. Remember, we
Yes.
took off a couple of times and you were gone for a couple of weeks. Well, I had the income to do that,
Right. 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 Mm-hmm.
and so I had the income to do that. Now it's time to get back to work. I took off, I did what I wanted to do, but that's what a business owner can do.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between myself and Tiffany and Quintonette, you guys got people working with you. I'm catching up with y'all this year.
Yes, you are, girl. We working on that.
Now that I'm hiring, because y'all have talked me into it. That would be a continuous thing. See, and that's the thing what Tiffany was talking about, having staff. What Quintonetta was talking about by having that continuation. You have to be able to branch out and do a little bit more, so that you always have income coming in. So when you're forming your business, you got to think on those lines. Okay, how am I going to continue to have income coming in? What type of savings accounts do I have? Do I have the money, enough money to actually leave the job? How about this? How am I making enough money in one of those entities to replace the income that I will have lost by leaving that job?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
No,
That's
then that
definitely. Oh,
that's
go
a
ahead.
big thing, because remember that was the conversation that I had with my son when he started Herbalife.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, do you have enough? Are you making enough money? So he started showing me, and I said, okay, so you're matching your teacher's salary. That's fine. Now let's double that before the end of the summer so you can do. And he did what he had to do so that he could double his income, and he ended up making more than his teacher's salary. Leave your job.
Yes. 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 And that is part of just planning properly, right? Because a lot of people get so excited and they just go. You know how like a toddler, they excited, they just running all over the place. They falling, they stumbling, but they get back up. But you create a lot of obstacles that way. And not properly planning can really cause your business to be stagnated longer than it has to be. And some people can't take that and don't realize what they're doing, and they're not being honest with themselves, and then they totally give up on the business and they say that it doesn't work, when that's not true. It's not that it doesn't work, you didn't work it. It's a big difference between that. So again, like we always said, we are here, we all do the business formation, we all set the strong foundations. Now, if you want to do a nonprofit, Elaine Capron is the one for you. That's who you definitely want to go to. She's definitely the expert in that area, but any other formations, you can talk to any of us on here. We can help you. We also show you how to build that foundation and the things that you need to do. We really help you put a goal together, put your vision and bring it up, put your vision on paper and let's bring it alive. right? And again, we're not trying to discourage you guys. This is just the reality, right? That comes with being an entrepreneur. So what I'm going to bring up next, because there's so many different things really, but I'm just trying to highlight some of the most common things, that people think about, because you have in your mind, you envision having this successful business. You have all these people working for you. You paying everybody a great salary. You just doing your thing. But it takes so much more behind the scenes to make that flow the way you envision it and to be able to maintain it. Because, see, even if you build it, if you can't maintain it, you don't wasted your time and everybody else's time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to do that. So now let's just talk about another challenge, that entrepreneurs face. Let's go with hiring people, right? Since we kind of touched base on that a
Good
little.
one.
So hiring people, right? And let me tell you something. Not only is it hard to find good people, but
Yeah.
see, as an entrepreneur, we think can't nobody do the job better than us, right? So it's hard for us to entrust somebody to do that. We don't want to delegate the
Delegating.
responsibilities.
Delegating. I got this on my paper. I was going
We don't want to delegate because it's like, you know what? They might be all right, but they ain't going to do it exactly how. Even when we train them, we can train them from start to finish. And you still be like, wait a minute, hold up. Let me listen to the call. Let me monitor them. Let me audit the file. And you feel uncomfortable and you don't feel at ease, right? Because your business is your baby, right? So if they mess it up, that can create problems. And I'm not talking about just things like, general things in training and it really was a mistake. Because sometimes you get people that you hire and some people get hired to destroy you, or sometimes you can have somebody that you hire and they're a great employee and they do what they're supposed to do and they really make an honest mistake. But the problem with that honest mistake is that it costs the business a whole lot of money, or that it can cause the business to be, under the radar, in the news, lawsuits, all of these type of things that comes back to you as the business owner. And you can't say, well, you know what? That was my employee, Kevin. He did that. It don't work like that. Because they're going to say, well, he worked for financial wellness, so his actions is your liability.
That's right.
So just hiring people can definitely be very challenging, and another thing you don't want to do. Now, I'm not saying
Elaine, like, never mind. Never mind.
But I'm not saying don't hire family, but you got to be careful with family, because I'm all with supporting family and the family growing together. Let's build an empire, right? I feel so strong about that. But you can't hire all your family members. I got a huge family, okay? And my son is the one that works for me as the executive assistant. Okay, my daughter, she went to college and she's now a fourth grade teacher. She does not work the business, but guess what? She know about the business. She know how to run that business if need be, because she needs to step in. Because if something happens to me where I have to step away, or God forbid, I'm no longer here, y'all better know how to run this business, because this will sustain all of them, not just those two. I have 6 children. They can all live off of the business. But you can't do that with everybody. I have had other family members that have worked for me that I had to fire. And that's the thing, because a lot of times now you will get some good family members that will work for you and they will make you shine. And then there's other ones that look at it as, okay, well, you my family member. And instead of them being appreciative, they actually take advantage of that situation. So you have to really be mindful of that. And just keep in mind, if your family members will do it, anybody will do it. But that's definitely a struggle, just really hiring people and finding people that you can walk away from and sleep peacefully at night. Y'all want to add to that?
I'm sorry, Tiffany. I'm sorry, but see, that's the thing. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. So, I just hired my first person today, right? So,
Yay, yes.
and that was because On the insurance side, you got a lot to lose, just like I do, if you
Mhm.
mess up. So
Mhm.
hiring you on the insurance side and, training you and stuff like that, really you have a lot to lose because while you may be working under me, you're working under your own license and you have a liability insurance. So that's a lot different. And believe me, it's easier for me to hire somebody in the insurance industry than it is for me to hire somebody in the other sides of my business because that's my brand.
Mhm.
And so even when I was doing my interview today with my new hiree, I talked about brand.
Mhm.
Like that was my focus because you are working under my brand. And Capron and Associates is definitely me. It's me in every single way that you can think of. I mean, my insurance company side is Capron Financial Services. It's me, Capron. So I'm looking at this young lady and I'm telling her, brand is everything. And once you do something in error to mess up the brand, then that goes down. People talk about brand forever,
Mhm.
and it could be that one thing and that one person that will never let it go. And they, even though it's you doing it because you're working under my brand, they'll say, well, Capron and Associates, yeah, I used them at so and so there at Capron and Associates did XYZ, and that is me. And that's why it's been so hard for me to grow. And Tiffany has been pushing me along like a choo-choo train. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I finally started saying, I think I can. You know, I started saying, I think I can. I think I will.
Mhm.
But I am very, very careful about who I hire. And hiring somebody does not mean that you just hire them. You need to do a background search on them.
Mhm.
Depending on your business, you need to know that you're not going to be hiring somebody that has a history of leaving earthquakes behind them.
Mhm.
You need to do your research on that individual, just like you were researching your favorite dress or pantsuit. You need to know that the stitches are not going to come out in the middle of a party.
There you
You
go.
So,
Absolutely.
it is like it's part of growth. Yes, and you do it when you're ready to do it, not when, not before then. But you just got to make sure that, you understand the process of growth and how you go through. And then you have to understand what you have on the table so that you can convey that. I, on the other hand, will not hire family.
Mhm.
I'm like Tiffany. My son knows my business. My husband knows my business.
Mhm.
That's all that knows my business the way it needs to be known. They know every facet of what I do, from
Mhm.
taxes to insurance to setting up businesses. They know everything that I do. But, you still have to grow. And capacity of growth is determined by the type of business that you have and how you generate your income. Um, and then also you have to think about salaries too. And
Mhm. That's what
even
I'm.
with thinking about salaries, it brings me back to budgeting.
Mhm.
Quintinette talked about swiping that card at the store because it's a pass through, and it's one of the biggest violations that you can have with taxes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's one of the biggest conversations that we have with our business owners. Like, stop doing that. I have a client that I've been telling for the last 10 years, stop doing that.
Mhm.
I now put all of those swipes on his 1099.
Mhm.
I don't care if it is for the business. I told you
Mhm.
not to do that. There's no way for me to tell what you're using it on. So it is now your income.
Yeah.
you know, Maybe that will deter him. Next year, I probably won't do business with him. I'll probably fire him as a client.
And you know what, guys, when you hire people, right? Because Elaine was talking about salary. That is a big one,
Yeah.
right? Because you want to pay a fair salary, but you don't want to also go bankrupt in the process, right?
Mhm.
Just like you don't want to work for minimum wage, they don't want to work for minimum wage, right? So you
Right.
have to keep that in mind. You have to remember the things that pushed you out of corporate America. And a lot of times it's so much more than just controlling your time. A lot of times it's because you give them all of your time and they don't pay you what your time is really worth. Most people work for corporate America and they're still in the negative at the end of the month. And the people that do work in corporate America and make an abundance amount of money, where they can sustain and they stay on the positive side at the end of the month, they're always at work. Always at
Mhm.
work. They live, breathe, and eat work. They don't have any type of life. It's no work life balance whatsoever. And a lot of times you have to think about that, because a lot of times, even though financially they may be set, but they're losing everything else. They're losing their family, their loved ones, because a lot of people that do that, they take it as, I'm doing this to take care of my family, but it's so much more to feeding into your family than feeding into them financially. And that's when you have a spouse, especially when you have children involved. You know how devastating it is for a child to be playing a sport and you look up and the father is never there or the mother is never there. That can be very discouraging, especially when they see other people, other children with that support. But all of that comes with hiring. So when you think about that salary, you want to pay them something that is very worth it, but you also got to keep in mind, you can't just say, oh, I'm going to pay you, let's say $60,000 a year, right? So you're paying them $60,000 a year, but you got to understand that's their salary that they're taking home. But you also, off of that 60,000, you have to pay half of their Medicare as the employer, and you have to pay half of the Social Security tax as their employer. Okay, so that's all part of your payroll. Now you also got to file quarterly payroll taxes.
Mhm.
Okay, and you have to get workman's comp insurance, right? So all of these things you have to factor in when you are considering what their salary is, or when you're trying to do bonuses and how raises are going to be paid. All of these things you have to think about, because if something, let's just say you tell somebody you're going to pay them, that they have their contract, and for whatever reason, your business is not doing well, you can't pay them that money. You can't say, well, I can't afford to pay you this week, this month, or I'm going to have to fire you. Now it comes liability with that, and that changes per state. Every state is not a will state, right? So now you
Mhm.
got a lawsuit coming because now they're going to sue you as the business. So it's just a lot of things to think about. And again, I'm just going to keep saying it's not to scare y'all, right? But these are the facts that most people don't think about. They just know they want a business, and just the responsibility that comes with that. Because also, too, one of the challenges, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but one of the challenges that come up is you being your mindset. You have to be strong, right? Because it's a lot of stress that comes with being a business owner. Good stress and bad stress. So remember, because all stress is not bad, right? But it's very stressful, because guess what? When you hire people, like I got so many people that work for me, right? And I think it's a great thing. I love to hire people. I love to feed into them financially. And I love to be the one helping them support their family. But do you know how much weight that put on my shoulders? You know how much I pray about that? Right? Because if I fall, they all fall. See, if I fall before I had a business, I just fall, right? I just can get back up. I'm going to figure it out.
Right.
But if I fall now, I got hundreds of people working for me. And if I fall and something happened, that affects their cash flow, that affects their livelihood, the ability for them to feed their family. So all of that weight is put on me. It's kind of like having somebody life in the palm of your hands. And sometimes, in the reality of that is, sometimes it's things that happen, right? Because we're all human, that we can't control.
Mhm.
But I have to channel through that, and I have to still make sure that they get paid every Friday, even if I don't get paid. So sometimes that can be, that can be overwhelming, as a business owner, just having all of that responsibility, not just with paying them, the responsibility of the business. When things go wrong, you're the one that have to come up with the solution, to this problem. You're the one that have to, I call them the mad dogs, when you kind of going head and head with different companies, contracts and stuff that you may have, sometimes with the banks, just all different things that's happening that creates the cash flow coming into your company. And even sometimes with your clients, because this is how you keep your company afloat. So all of that pressure is put on you as the owner. And guess what? It's not like corporate America when they give you a management position and you say, man, forget this, I'm out of here. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it can be very overwhelming. So you definitely, like all of us on here, we stay prayed up. So we are all favored, right? We were just talking about that, Elaine, earlier. We are all favored. So that helped us. That helped us tremendously.
You
But
have to
it
be.
is still it is still overwhelming. It is still overwhelming because you have to think the day to day, the function of the business, everything is your responsibility. If the air conditioner system shut down and they in there sweating, they ain't gonna fix it. You got to fix it because you got to write the check.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just all of those type of things, that you have to really be strong enough, and you have to, your mindset has to be there, and you have to be ready. You can't just fall back in a shell and give up because you have too many people depending on you that's outside of your household.
Well,
Right.
and the thing about that I want to add in is that, like, just like you said, we all talk,
Mm-hmm.
and your mindset can take you different places. But if you surround yourself with like-minded people,
Yes.
if you surround yourself with like-minded people that are going places, that
Mm-hmm.
want to do something with their life, and not just talking about it, because we got a lot of people that talk, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to do. And 2 years down the line, you still talking to that person about what they talked about 2 years ago. They're not doing anything. Now look at yourself. You are replicating them. You haven't done anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in order to get through those moments of stress, it's like you take a woosah moment, and then you get to the people that are on the same playing level, that are trying to reach the same goals, that are actually doing something with their time management,
Mm-hmm.
so that
Mm-hmm.
you say, hey, this is what I did. It didn't really work, and I need some feedback. And they'll give you, it's like we're doing right now, they'll give you the feedback that's necessary. Sometimes you just need a prayer,
Mm-hmm.
or you just need to hear, yeah, man, I've been through that. This is what I did to get out of it, something else. But they're doing something, and they're moving someplace, and they know how to articulate themselves, and what they're saying makes sense. So real simple. I know a lot of people that tell me they make a lot of money. I hear them talking to people, talking about how they make a lot of money. When I subtract your expenses from your gross income, that's what you made. And if you didn't make six figures, then you ain't making a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
you
There you
know,
go. Amen to that. I definitely agree.
Right.
I need to talk to people that are making the six figures after I subtract
Mm-hmm.
their expenses.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
6 figures or more.
And when I have people that are coming up under me, yeah. But when you have to know when you should step back and say, hey, this is who you need to talk to, because you've now reached this goal. And that the next step that you're trying to take, that's where I'm going. And this is the person I talk to on a regular basis about that
Mm-hmm.
area of expertise, because there's no shame in what I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I you got to know that that's the person that you have in your corner, because that's the person that's climbing that ladder with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're starting to slip, they'll reach down their hand to pull you up. So so starting this business is, Tiffany's right. It's very stressful. The other thing that I realized from talking to people, I mean, some of my clients are doctors, some of them are pastors that have their own businesses, and they are under a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
You don't function well in the presence of I'm stressed.
Mm-hmm.
We make poor decisions, or we stand still, or we act out. And I call those act out moments Bible moments, because in the Bible, sin was always created in the process of acting out.
Mm-hmm.
So we act out in the process. But if you slow down long enough and act like it's a chess game and look at them pieces on your chessboard and figure out, okay, I'm trying to get to that queen. If you really stop and utilize that time that way, instead of being stressed about the situation and thinking that it's just not going to work, you'll find a valuable avenue to utilize to get to the goal that you're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So the stress doesn't really work for you. You just got to find a way around it. I had an issue today, and Tiffany and I were talking about it, and as I'm talking to her, I was like, yo, Tiffany, this is what we're going to do. you know and, we were able to work through the issue
Yes.
together.
Together. There you go. There you
you
go.
know and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, my issue is solved, but that was like, okay, let me sit back and really think about this. How
Yeah.
am I going to get what I need from my client? Okay, Tiffany, this is what we're going to do, and you going to help me do this. And it was no issue. There was no issue with her helping me get what I needed to get, for my client.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the type of people you need around you. That's the
Absolutely.
type of attitude that you need when you're facing an issue that looks like it's impossible. Nothing in life is impossible. All things are probable.
There you go. And that's true. Guys, definitely surround yourself with people that support you, right? Because we all have a bad day. I know we be on here smiling and laughing, but we go through the same things that y'all go through. We have life challenges. We cry, we get mad, we sad, we angry. We go through all of the emotions just like people fall into depressions, So, but when you have that support system, if I'm lacking or I'm just not feeling it today, oh my God, I'm ready to give, I'm ready to just shut it down. It's over. And you get like that sometimes, you really do. But I can call my partners over here, Quinn, Elaine, I'm not having a good day. I'm just ready to give it up. And you know what? Let me tell you, not only do they motivate me to keep going, but guess what? They jumping on behind the scenes and they keep my business afloat till I get it together. Whether I'm crying, I just got to go to sleep, I got to do something, let me get my nails done so I feel pretty, anything. Anything that I need to do at that moment, because all of us go through that. Just like how, working in corporate America, you don't feel like coming to work sometimes. We don't feel like coming to work sometimes. We don't feel like working the business. We don't feel like going in here talking to the people. Can I have what's this? Can I have a rate? Sometimes we don't want to deal with that neither. Right? We don't want to deal with those same issues. And the thing is, when you don't have a team of people around you that support you and that is really there for you, no matter what, no matter what, they are there for you. When you don't have that, that can cause you to lose insight and focus on your business. And, some people have lost their business because of that. You got to have a team of people that you can go to that can pray with you, right? That can cry with you, that can laugh with you, and that can be there during your down times. And people don't realize that because things happen, y'all. Let me tell y'all, last year, my baby girl, that's my little golden child, I call her, little Tamia.
Me.
Girl came on April Fool's Day. Now, she wasn't supposed to be here to the end of July. So she came early. She's supposed to come July 28th. She came on April the 1st. Now, y'all all know I do taxes. And I got all these tax preparers that work under me. I'm in the hospital. I can't do nothing. I could barely even talk. But when I tell you my team of people stepped in, I'm talking about they stepped up like they owned financial wealth. And I had to get myself together. And, with that, people still calling, right? Calls are still coming in because even though I have the office number, the 800 number, I have the business cell phone. So everything is channeling in. So I'm still seeing stuff. Let me tell you something. They took me out the call loop. and dared somebody to try to contact me. You, you, because it was me trying to get it was a life crisis that
Mm-hmm.
not only I was facing, my daughter was facing. You know, so through that we prayed, and I had the team there for me that kept my business afloat. They stood strong, and made sure that not only was I okay, but the business was okay. And they are the type of people that you want in a corner. You don't want people working for you like, oh, when the boss ain't here, it's time to cut it up. You don't want nobody like that. You want people who are really there for you and that believe in your vision, and they understand that the better your business do, the better that they do. Right. And their
Mhm.
actions is going to show through that. So,
Exactly.
I know we kind of talked about a lot. We getting ready to wrap it up. So I'm just going to throw a couple of other things out here, and if Quint, any Lane, if y'all want to kind of elaborate a little bit on it, but other things that, businesses, entrepreneurs face, I'm sorry, is healthcare, right? Got to pay
Mm-hmm.
on healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
right? Another thing is business growth and scaling your business, right? That's another thing, that a lot of entrepreneurs face, finding, funding for your business, right? And the right type of funding for your business, and being ready for the overflow, right? That's a lot of things that a lot of entrepreneurs they just live for that moment. Today, this is what I'm
Yes.
going to do today. I only got 3 clients, so I don't need this. You have to, when you're building out your business, that foundation have to be strong, as if you already at 7 figures, right? Because that's when you're ready for the overflow, because you're not going to be ready to get ready when it presents itself. See,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes some opportunities come by and they fly right by because you're not ready. Because see, the people that came to you, they ready to move forward. They're not going to wait for you to get ready.
Yes.
And you have a lot of people that say, well, if it was meant to be, it's going to come back. That's not always the truth. Because sometimes it was meant to be, but you wasn't ready, because it's called procrastination, because you
Mm-hmm.
think that time is on your side, and that's not the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just, a couple of things I kind of wanted to throw out there, if y'all wanted to elaborate on that, because I know healthcare is another one. A lot of people complain about, oh, I don't want to leave my job because I'm not going to have healthcare. And I understand that. Trust me, I understand that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you
Well,
weigh out your options, it's actually really, healthcare is expensive. It can be expensive, but it's so many other options out here that will allow you to be able to do that and make an unlimited amount of income. Because really what happens is you hold on to the job for healthcare, even if you work in limited hours, but it's causing your business to stay stagnated. So that's just a couple things I wanted to throw out there. So if y'all wanted to elaborate on that, audience, if y'all have any type of questions or anything that y'all would like us to answer, feel free to shoot it in the comments.
healthcare, I'm gonna piggyback on that because healthcare and being sick is one of the things that I often talk about. Because in 2007 they diagnosed me with cancer. So I will tell you, healthcare is one of the biggest things, but healthcare from 2007 to now is a whole lot different. There are viable ways for people to get healthcare in their states.
Mm-hmm.
So we should not have a question about healthcare. I have optimal healthcare. I use my healthcare to get my eyes tested. I only pay a $5 copay. And then the glasses are the same because even when you have vision insurance, you're going to pay top dollar for whatever designer glasses that you want to have because ain't nobody getting no black glasses with clear lenses anymore, right? So you're going to upscale your glasses. So at the end of the day, you're still going to pay for your glasses the same way you would have paid if you had insurance for your glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So my health care is there. And then the other thing that I talk to business owners about, and Tiffany, this, it took me about 10 years
Mm-hmm.
from my diagnosis to be free and clear to get living benefits.
Mm-hmm.
I have my living benefits. Any entrepreneur out there, any business owner out there, you cannot survive being sick. If
Mhm.
you are solely dependent on your income and being able to work, you get sick and see how fast your savings account goes. Whether
Mhm.
you're an entrepreneur or a person that works for somebody, you're going to go through all of your accounts, including your savings, just because you were sick. Because if you can't work, what you doing?
Mhm.
So I think I shared this testimony with you. I had a client that was diagnosed with cancer, and she had a policy in place for living benefits, and she was able to accelerate her benefits. 75% of $1 million.
Mhm. So they gave her 75% of $1 million, y'all.
75% of $1 million. And I'm like, you can't get that anywhere else. You really
Mhm.
can't.
Mhm.
She didn't even know she had that rider. So let me tell you, I gave her a policy. I wrote a policy, an illustration. I sent it to her, which I'll never do again. I'll only review it with my clients. Somebody duplicated it and gave her the policy. But when she got sick, they didn't tell her how the policy worked. So I stepped in when I found out and helped her get through the process or start the process for them reviewing it so that they can accelerate her benefits. But the point is that dollar amount will help you get through all of the things that you need to get through.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, even if you stayed at a job, your health care on your job does not pay all of the bill.
Come on. Mm-mm.
How
No.
many times, Tiffany, do you see somebody come to you about bankruptcy or had to file bankruptcy? They need their credit fixed or whatever.
All the time.
That I mean, I get it all the time. I had to fix my
Mhm.
credit because I had medical issues that ended up on my credit report because I was unable to pay the bill.
Mhm.
Right now, think of yourself as a business owner. You are home, and the only thing that you're thinking about is going back and forth to your doctor's appointments. Why would you not cover the probability and the inevitability of you needing something when you get sick?
Mhm. There you go.
So we
Yeah.
have all our ducks in order. I know Tiffany got hers, Quinette has hers, I got mine. We have our ducks in order, but that's part of thinking through your business. What am I
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
You know, and then
Mhm.
what am I going to do? What happens if my children get sick? Tiffany got all six of her kids covered. Like, what happens if my children get sick and I can't go to work?
Mhm.
Right.
How many
Right.
times did you have to run back and forth with the baby?
Oh, all the time. Couple
What
times a week.
happens?
Mhm.
I still need to be able to accelerate something on
Mhm.
something just in case I gotta take care of my family.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
it's not expensive. Nothing is too expensive. You pay car insurance. It's like putting on a seatbelt. You put it on anyway, right? You pay car insurance. You don't need it. You don't use it until you need it. It's the same thing with like living benefits. My husband has it just in case.
Yeah.
If he gets sick, I know I can listen. My husband is everything to me. God gave him to me. He's mine. If something happens to my husband, I am going to stop. Everything stops,
Yes. Yeah.
and I'm going to take care of my husband. But I know that we're going to need cash flow,
Mhm.
you
Yep.
know,
That's so
and
true.
that cash flow is there. Now, when it comes to like assisting and people backing up and all that stuff, Tiffany, I really want to stay. I want to say this to you on. I want to say this to you right now because I have
Okay.
never said it
Good.
to you.
Yes.
When my mother passed away, you stepped in and stepped up. You not only carried me, you carried my clients.
Thank
You
you.
made sure that
You make me so
everything was
happy.
perfect for me. You checked on me twice, three times a day to make sure that my clients didn't need anything. And I really, really appreciate it for that. I really do.
Oh, you're so
You
good.
did that on my life insurance side. You did it on the tax side. You did it on every part of my business. You asked me about all of my business because you knew that my husband and myself was busy taking care of the things that I had to take care of when I had to close my office door. But my business didn't stop.
Yeah.
And it was because my business didn't stop. People were still talking about me, and I was able to make the income I made to go away for that month I needed to recuperate. I have never said thank you to you the way I'm saying thank you to you now. You mean everything to me. You are not just my business partner, you are my sister. I would go to bat anytime for you, anytime for you. You are my sister, and that is all there is to it. Y'all, if you guys are not chiming in on these podcasts that Tiffany said that the people need, because believe me, if it was up to me and Quinette, we would have known about it. We would have been running our businesses and hiring people that we needed X amount of employees. So
Right.
it
That's
is,
why we rock with you,
and
Tiffany.
that's
That's
why
why
we
we rock
rock
with
with
you.
her. When she calls and says that the people need something, we're going to make sure that they get what they need. And that is because you have a caring heart. And I know that you take care of all of your employees. And just like you take care of all your employees and your agents, believe me, I'm doing the same thing that you're doing. And I really appreciate the fact that you have put out this podcast every Monday, because you didn't even, you just say, Elaine, you're going to be on a podcast every Monday. So, and we're going to be talking about businesses, but this is a good podcast because really all the things we talked about, business formations, we talked about just stresses of having a business, we talked about viability, we talked about the things that you need to have in place, we talked about reason being having reasonable expectations, and then about who you surround yourself with. We just touched everything that needed to be touched in these last couple of podcasts regarding a business. There's a whole lot more to be touched, but literally, Tiffany, it is 8 o'clock, and I'm ending it with saying to you, I really appreciate you, and everything that you do. And I know that your clients appreciate you too, and everybody that works with you. That's why you have favor.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
I love y'all.
Okay, I know we ending, but I
I
want
do.
to end with something
Go
funny
ahead.
though, but it's for real.
Okay.
Okay, so we were talking about hiring people, and we kind of laughed about that, and I wanted to do it and all of this. So my son, my 21-year-old, kind of in between job, well, he was in between jobs. So I'm like, I'm gonna let him come to the office, and I'll give him some receipts or something of the sort, just to have family, in and show him how the business go. He worked about 30 minutes and said, "Do I get paid today?" So me, because like you said earlier, Tiffany, this is our baby. This is what we birth. This is what we do.
Mhm.
So of course we take pride in it, and it means everything to us. And again, like Elaine mentioned, that's her. That's her business, her brand. And so I just would like to say I did pay him that day, and he hasn't been back. He's not allowed back.
There you go. That's what it is.
And
That's
that's
what it is.
family.
Yes. Oh man, yes. But oh man, Elaine, you done had me crying on here. And I kept myself together, but you are very welcome, and I love you too. You are my sister for life. And just
Yes.
like you said, man, I'll go to bat for you. Anything you want. I love you so much. I love Quintonette. I mean, God, it's when you God, I don't even know how to say it, but when you go through things in life and then you meet people, right? That you never knew that live across the United States, right? We all live in different states. We're not close neither. We got to get on a plane to see each other. But when you meet people like that and they become like family, and I'm talking about an unbreakable bond. Just like Elaine said, we're gonna go to bat. Something happened, I'm jumping on a plane, jumping on the road. I'm getting there. You know what I'm saying? And they'll do the same thing. And it's like, so I definitely want to end it with that. And I just want to say this just because of that too, is with being an entrepreneur, lack of support is what a lot of us face too, right? And just dealing with the competition, is another thing. But that lack of support, I just want to say with that, what, never let that discourage you, right? Because a lot of times the lack of support, and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway, it come from your family and your friends. And I'm talking about the family members you would ride or die, give them a kidney. I mean, the ones you would do anything for. and they don't support your business, and it hurts because the same service that you offer, and let's just say taxes, right? Because we talk about taxes a lot. They don't want to come to you to get their taxes done, but they'll go to H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, Liberty.
I want you to fix it.
Yes.
Come back and they want you to fix it. They go and pay them. So I say that to don't ever let that discourage you, because see, a lot of times when people become entrepreneurs, they tell you to focus on your warm market. That's not what we do over here. Mm-hmm. Okay, go to your cold market, because that's really where the magic happens, right? That's when you really start to elevate. Mm-hmm. And I share my story all the time, and I love my family. I love all of my family. We're actually a close-knit family. But the reality of it is my business is very successful. Put it like this: if my family supported me, oh man, I'd have made millions like instantly, right? But with my business, with everything that I do, and for as long as I've been doing this, just along with taxes, I've been doing that 26 years. Out of my personal clientele, maybe 3% of them is family members. The other 97% is people that I never even knew. Mm-hmm. So that lack of support, don't let that discourage you, because a lot of times that comes from the people you think would support you, and you probably are like we are, where like, you know what, if my family did a business, I'm going to support you. You let me know about it, I'm going to help you grow it. Your kid's selling something, I'm buying something. But a lot of times you don't get that same type of love in return. So never let that discourage you, because sometimes your family members just see you as they know you. Either you the daughter, you the cousin, you the aunt, you the friend that was on the block that we played double dutch with. That's how they look at you. They don't see you as this successful person. So they don't want to support you. And it's sad. It's sad because just like Quintonette said, soon as they go to somebody else and they mess it up, they want you to fix it. But not only do they want you to fix it, they want you to fix it for free. Or they say, well, wait a minute. I already gave H&R Block $500. You mean I got to pay you too? Uh-huh.
Yep.
So
I didn't tell you to go to H&R Block.
So
or Liberty.
Please don't lose insight because of the lack of support.
Or anybody else.
Always. It's always people out there that is definitely willing and able to support you. And your family members and friends that don't want to support you, when they see you really elevate, maybe on TV commercials, maybe an internet sensation, whatever, then they gonna want to ride or die with you. They want everybody to know that y'all related, or that y'all friends, or that y'all was in kindergarten together. They want everybody to know them, but don't let that be your determining factor, because a lot of people stop their business because they feel as though that it will not work because they don't have the right support. Right? But your target audience is not your family and friends. Step outside your comfort zone and go get it.
Yep.
So I just want to end it with that. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Next week, we will be doing a giveaway next week, so we will have that announced. Hey! So in order to win on that giveaway, you do have to be live and you do have to be interactive with the comments and stuff, because that's how you get your drawing into the giveaway. And we will do that giveaway live on the actual podcast. Okay.
There you go.
And I'm thinking, I don't know yet, but I'm thinking next week, I'm thinking about talking about life insurance. Elaine, what you think?
That's fine with me.
Good. That means I can be on the live interacting and maybe get in on the giveaway.
Yeah, right? Yeah, but yeah, definitely.
Okay, Samantha.
Yes, but
that's right. That's right.
I think we're going to talk about that, because when Elaine was talking about the life insurance, right? How you can do so many things with life insurance, and how people have auto insurance in case you get into an accident, right? But when it comes to the life insurance, the components of the life insurance is not a just in case factor, okay? Because it's going to happen. All of us get sick. All of us go through some type of challenges. If we live long enough, or even if you want to retire early, you all want to retire, right? You want to be able to do that. And then, of course, we all got to go. We're not going to be here forever. Right. So the life insurance is something that you have to have in place for when it happened. because it's definitely going to happen. We just don't know when. And again, life insurance is just not about death. It's so many other living components in it that, man, I'm not even going to start because I probably start talking about it. But it's something definitely worth watching next week. And you definitely want to understand it and how it really works, because I realize in our communities, when it comes to life insurance, a lot of us just associate life insurance with death.
All the time.
And that's not what that, I mean, that's a part of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a small part of it. You know, but
Learn
it's
learn what the
so,
1% knows.
yes. So we are here to tell y'all what they try to keep away from us. All right. So we definitely will be talking about that next week, and we hope to see y'all. I will be posting that tomorrow, so feel free to share, have people tune in. And let's make it a big one next week, because it's definitely something that people need to hear about. And more people could possibly win the giveaway. And if we get enough people, we might even do 2 giveaways. Just depends
There
on
you
how,
go.
how we feeling, But I definitely enjoy being on here. And I can't wait, for that to come. And we got somebody already saying that they're going to be here with us. So we are looking forward to seeing you, my 4 kings. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end it. And y'all all have a blessed night.
Wonderful night. Yes, yes. God
Good
bless.
night.
Good night.